We are now in month 2 of me receiving a rental income from my first ever rental property. Hey guys, welcome to Budget with a July Dreamer. My name is Miranda, and on this channel I talk all things personal finance, specifically sharing tips on how to save, how to invest, as well as how to budget. If this topic interests you, then do not forget to hit that subscribe button as well as give this video a like. So as I mentioned, we are in the month of August, which means we are in month 2 of me receiving rental income from my first ever rental property. I will be looking down on my laptop as I walk you through how I budget for my rental income and how I spend that money. Obviously, I have mentioned in my previous videos that I have decided to keep my everyday budget separate from my rental property income because for tax purposes, it will be easier to just have one account that is purely dedicated to the rental expenses and not mix it with my everyday spending, because I think that would just be so complicated. So I'm gonna look down on my laptop and I'll start sharing my screen now. So this tracker that you're seeing that I'm using right now is one that you can buy from my Etsy shop. So I use this one for my everyday budgeting and I'm using it for my rental property as well. So for the income section, obviously the rental income, any savings that I've used, other income, and then carryover income. So for the rental income, I always my rent, my tenant pays £850 for the rental property. That's what I expect and that's what I got. Then this month, the month of August, I've been able to add in from my my savings, so from my different saving pots and what have you. Actually, not my savings, from other sources, so like from my blog, from my personal account. So all of that money that I've brought into this account to cover expenses, and I'll explain that in a bit. So I've brought in £432.65. Then for other carryover income, so last month when I shared my July rental property budget, I did mention that for the first month I wasn't really expecting much of an income because the first rental income you get, most of it goes to setting up with the management company that I'm using to help me manage my property. So the setup fees was, I think, almost £600, which almost, obviously almost depleted the rental income. So that is the carryover money. And for the month of August, I actually am going to make another video speaking about this, but I budgeted wrong and I'll talk to you about that in another video. So I was able, for the rental income that I got from last month, this is what I've put as carryover money for this month. So that was £230.71. So in total I had £1,513.36 to work with for the month of August. So moving over to the first section, which is pay yourself first. So I believe in the principle of paying myself first, whether this is with my everyday budgeting or with my rental property, and even the money that I get from my side hustles, passive income. So that is my blog, my Etsy, and everything in between. So I believe in doing that. And for this rental property, I think it makes sense for me to have an emergency fund set up for this property as well as maintenance fund. So for my emergency fund, I'd said I wanted to put £50. I was able to put that £50. For maintenance fund, I said £50. I didn't actually manage to put anything, and I'll speak about this in a moment. Then carryover money, I don't budget anything because whatever is left over is what I carry over, and that is £576.27. And I'm sure you'll be asking why I have that much carryover money but I didn't have enough money to put into my maintenance fund. And this is because £576.26 is what I use to pay for next month's bills. So my bills for my rental property come out on the 1st. Today is the 31st of August when I'm filming this video. So all my charges for my rental property, so my mortgage, my insurance, my landlord care, all of that jazz comes out on the 1st of the month. My tenant pays around the end of the month, so I just use that money to pay for the next month as opposed to paying for the month itself. This is why in the month of July I ended up having to put the money in myself, as opposed to waiting for the tenant income to come in and then use that. So this is why you would see that my carryover money is quite a lot. This is because it covers all the costs associated with this rental property on the first of the month, and I'll do the same thing. So the money that I'll get in September will actually pay for the October expenses. So this is how it works. So in this savings section, I am putting £626.27. In actuality, I'm only putting £50 because this money will be spent, but for now it is sitting in my checking account as carryover money for September. Then moving over to fixed expenses. So for mortgage fees, management fees. So like I said, I do use a management company to help me manage my property because I felt that was the best cost for me to take as opposed to managing the property myself. So I always budget 110, but this month, the month of August, was the first proper one day we'll be charging for me to understand the actual cost. I did do my own calculations, but it turned out I actually over budgeted. So for September, I'll possibly change this to a little bit lower, maybe to 106 or something like that. So I actually spent £5.60, which is 7% of the total income that I had to work with for the month of August. My mortgage, I prefer to budget over than under, so I budgeted 435. It's actually 434.91 pence. Landlord insurance, I budget 30. It's actually 28.65 pounds. Life insurance, I budget 75. It's actually 73.89. Landlord home care, budgeted 19. It's actually 18 pounds and 5 pence. Then for my fridge, I have an insurance, well, not my fridge, my washing machine in the property, I have this extra insurance for it, which I budget £7, but it's actually £6 and 99 pence. So the total cost for that is 668 and 9 pence, which is 44% of the total income I'm working with for the month of August. Moving to variable expenses. So for variable expenses, so monthly maintenance, I'm putting £50 on budget, but for the month of August, I ended up having to pay £192. It was actually 160 plus VAT comes to 190. So I bought a washing machine for the tenant for my property, and I wanted it to be fitted in the kitchen so that it is part of the display units that I have in the kitchen. I didn't want it to be like outside, and because of that we had to make some adjustments to the kitchen unit, and that cost me 160 plus VAT 192, and that's what I spent the majority of the money on. But because this happened earlier than I got the rental income, I ended up cash flowing this, and then when the rental income came, I took that back. So I spent 192, so which is 142 pounds over. Then for miscellaneous, because you know there's always something, I thought I put 24 pounds, but I actually ended up spending 27 pounds, and this was because my rental property is a new build. I had to contact the council myself, the street naming part of the council, so that they can inform all the other agencies. First inform the council internally, so for council tax, for what have you, and then for all other agencies like BT Open Line, like Royal Mail, to let them know this is the address for this property and all of that jazz, and that cost me 27 pounds. So again, I blew the budget there by £3. So for variable expenses, I ended up spending £219 when I had planned to spend only £74. But with rental properties, I'm actually starting to learn that you really have to have savings for the rental property as well, because something will come out of the blue. And even though I only got my property at the beginning of July, got a tenant at the beginning of July, got my first rental income at the end of July, I have actually, in the 2 months that I've been a landlord, so many things have happened, so many things I've had to pay for, but I am learning. So I'm excited to add more properties to my portfolio, so I'll start working on the second rental property and we'll see how that goes. But I think from what I'm learning already, I'll be able to use that knowledge to my next property, so I'm excited about that. So Having said that, let's go to the total expenditures tab. So for savings, I wanted to put £100 and I have put only £50, but because there's carryover money in there, it is a 626.27 pence. Fixed expenses, I thought I was going to spend 676. I spent 668.09 pence. Variable expenses, I thought I was going to spend only £74, but I've just spoken about, I spent £219. So this is a zero-based budgeting type that I follow, even for my rental property as well as my everyday budgeting. So I started off with 1,539.36 pence, and that's exactly what I am ending my budget with. So all of the money has a job, even the carryover money, it also has a job. So this is all I wanted to share for my rental property budgeting. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll link my how much it cost me to buy this rental property in the description bar below. Let me know in the comments if you have any rental properties and how you budget for them if you do. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.